بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Brothers and sisters, dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are talking about a series of understanding prophets and messengers in Islam. Previously we spoke about what Muslims believe in the concept of prophecy and messengerhood. And we believe that Allah Almighty sent prophets and messengers, beginning with the first human being and first mankind, Adam alayhi salam, and up to all the way Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. In between Adam alayhi salam and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, there was about 114,000 prophets and messengers sent to mankind. There's 114,000 prophets and messengers that were sent to different nations. That was sent to different nationalities, different races, different tribes. We know some and we don't know of many. We know the 25 that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had mentioned in the Holy Quran. And those 25 are from amongst the most elite of prophets and messengers, as the scholars say. From the 25, there are the ulil azmi min al-rusul, the most perseverant and the most steadfast of prophets and messengers that we consider are the top 5 prophets and messengers. Nuh alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, and finally the best and the greatest one of all, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Today, inshallah, we want to talk about Nuh alayhi salam. As we know, in English they call him Noah. Nuh alayhi salam is one of the greatest and the best of prophets and messengers. Nuh alayhi salam is also from the early days prophets and messengers. It is being narrated and it's been mentioned in history that Nuh alayhi salam came 1,000 years after the death of his grandfather Adam alayhi salam. This is what's been narrated. And Nuh alayhi salam was sent to the children of Adam, and was sent to the grandchildren of Adam. But during the time of Nuh, it was a bit different. It was a little different than the previous generations before him alayhi salam. During the time of Nuh alayhi salam, paganism existed, which did not exist in the past. When I'm talking about paganism here, I'm talking about the worship of idols. Before, during the time of Adam alayhi salam and the children of Adam, the direct children of Adam, and then the grandchildren of Adam, Nuh alayhi salam maybe fits in 3-4 generations after that. Before, all the people during the time of Adam alayhi salam, they were Muslims, believers in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, they probably committed sins like Qabil and the story of Qabil and Habil, and maybe they committed wrongdoings, but at the end of the day, belief was there. Believing in the monotheism of Islam, believing in the oneness of Allah, believing in the existence of Allah, and did not ascribe any partners to Allah Almighty. But during the time of Nuh alayhi salam, it was the widespread of worshipping idols. They were worshipping idols. How did the worship of idols begin? It began during the time of the prophets and messengers before Nuh, as we mentioned, 114,000 prophets and messengers sent to mankind. All we know before Nuh, there were 2 prophets that we know of, Shady alayhi salam and Idris alayhi salam. But in between Adam and Nuh, there could be tens or maybe hundreds or thousands of prophets and messengers sent. But we know of 2, Shady alayhi salam and Idris alayhi salam before Nuh alayhi salam. It came to a time where the offsprings of Adam had always a prophet and a messenger for them to resort to, for them to ask, for them to, if they needed a matter or they needed a consultation of a matter or an answer of an issue, they go back to them. But then it came to a gap where there was no prophets and messengers. So what happened? People started to ask the direct students and disciples of those prophets and messengers. So what happened? The disciples also died. So there were prophets, they died, people resorted to the disciples died. So people then start to think, what do we do? Who do we ask? So what happened? Shaitan, Satan, he came and he knew how to manipulate them. So he said to them, it was during the time of the prophets and messengers, you will always look up to them, take them as an example and role model. If you needed a verdict on any matter or an advice on any matter, you will ask them. The prophets and messengers died and then it was their disciples and their direct students. Their disciples and the direct students died. How about I'll give you an idea. So what was the idea of the shaitan? The idea of the shaitan was, why don't you draw pictures? Why don't you draw pictures of those righteous people they used to look up to? Why don't you draw pictures of those prophets and messengers they used to look up to? Put them in your houses, and then when you feel that you are losing motivation, when you feel like you are losing iman, look at those pictures. Maybe it reminds you of Allah. Maybe it increases and motivates your iman. So the people thought about it and they said, you know what? That's not a bad idea. So they did. So they started to draw the pictures of the prophets and messengers that they used to look up to. And if it wasn't for prophets and messengers that they did not know of, then they'll draw a picture of those who they used to look up to from the disciples and righteous people. And it was only about looking at those pictures to remind them of Allah. Then the next generation came, and then Shaitan came up to him and said, you know what? I think a picture is not enough. Why don't you idolize it? Put it in a form of a statue. Make a statue of those who used to respect. Put it in your house. And when you feel demotivated, when you feel down, and you feel that you need motivation, you need to be reconnected to Allah, look at those statues and it reminds you of Allah. So the next generation did so. So they moved now from pictures into idols. Then the third generation came, and it was not only just looking up to those statues and idols. Now they start to worship the statues and idols. So the concept of paganism and worshipping idols infiltrated into the offsprings of Adam because of the tricks of the shaitan. He began with, just look at those pictures and it reminds you of Allah. Then make a statue and reminds you of Allah. But the upcoming and the following generations did not know that, so they inherited from their parents the thought that we have to worship those idols. Those idols connect us to Allah. Those idols, if we need sustenance, we ask them. If we need rain, we ask them. If we need help, we ask them. If we need children, we ask them. If we are in desperate need of any matter, we ask them. So Nuh alayhi salam came during a very, very difficult time. A time where the concept and the principle to these people, the concept and the perception of these people worshipping idols was widespread. And Nuh alayhi salam came to challenge that, to clean that, to purify people's hearts and mind. But unfortunately, Nuh alayhi salam faced a lot of difficulties and faced a lot of hardship from his people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the story of Nuh alayhi salam in many, many verses in the Quran Kareem. There is even a surah named after Nuh alayhi salam, mentioning the suffering that Nuh alayhi salam faced from his people, the challenges that Nuh alayhi salam went through with his people, what Nuh alayhi salam had to face and see from his people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes what Nuh alayhi salam will continue asking Allah Azza wa Jal. He says, رَبِّ إِنِّي دَعَوْتُ قَوْمِي لَيْلًا وَنَهَارًا فَلَمْ يَزِدْهُمْ دُعَائِي إِلَّا فِرَارًا. Oh Allah, I had called my people during the day and night. Nuh alayhi salam was calling his people during the day and night. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Nuh says, Oh Allah, and my call to my people only distant them away from me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says that we sent Nuh 950 years calling his people. Nuh alayhi salam did not live for 950 years, but he lived for over 1,100 years. Out of the 1,100 years, he called his people 950 years. 9 centuries and a half. 950 years calling his people and calling his people day and night, as Allah describes in the Quran Kareem. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draws the picture for us about the struggling and about the challenges that Nuh faced, calling his people every day and every night to the worship of Allah and only the worship of Allah. But what was the people's reaction? They continued to challenge Nuh and make mockery of Nuh until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Nuh to build the well-known ark where Nuh alayhi salam, him and his followers and the believing people from his family, only the believing people from his family went in this ark, And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also commanded him that he brings two different genders from different animals, different species in the ark. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent his punishment upon the people of this world, and that was the flood that Allah Azza wa Jal made the ground explode with the water and springs, and Allah Azza wa Jal made Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open the heavens with rain, and Allah Azza wa Jal destroyed every single human being existing on the surface of the earth at that time, and the only survivors were Nuh and those who were with Nuh on the ark. And that's why we Muslims describe Nuh as the second Adam. We describe him as the second Adam, as the second father of mankind. The first father of mankind was Adam alayhi salam, and the second father of mankind was Nuh alayhi salam, because it was only the offsprings of Nuh that exist till this day from the time of Nuh alayhi salam. Allah mentions that very clearly in the Quran Kareem, that we only made Nuh to produce children. Till this day, everyone goes back to Nuh and those during the time of Nuh go back to Adam, and that's why Nuh is known as the second father of mankind. But the story of Nuh resembles the strong and the hard strive that Nuh alayhi salam went through, facing the challenges from his people, and he continued calling his people without giving up. And at the end of the day, how many people followed him? The maximum narration says 81 people, 950 years, and the maximum he could achieve, alayhi salam, was 81 people to follow him and 81 people to believe in him. And this is for us to know that the path of da'wah and calling to Allah is sometimes difficult, and there are so many challenges in life. To be a Muslim, sometimes we are faced with so many challenges in life, but our stance, as we are taught as Muslims, is that we stand strong in front of those challenges, and we continue facing those challenges until we make those changes that we are aiming for, or until we succeed what we are planning for. My brothers and my sisters, Nuh alayhi salam is a great prophet in Islam. Nuh alayhi salam is a great messenger in Islam. Nuh alayhi salam is a prophet and a messenger that carries a lot of patience, and patience in life is so important. Without patience, we can't succeed in anything in life, whether to be family, whether to be social, whether to be financial, whether to be in anything. Everything in life requires patience. And Nuh alayhi salam resembles the long-lasting patience, calling his people for 950 years. 950 years challenging his people to invite them to Islam, to bring them to Islam. And all Nuh wanted is to see these people believe in Allah and to be saved from the punishment of Allah in this world and the hereafter. Once again, my brothers and my sisters and dear viewers, I ask Allah to make us from amongst those who listen and hear and act upon what they listen and hear. And inshallah, we continue with you with other prophets and messengers, speaking about them to understand them. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.